Hey, what's going on, guys? All in channel host Sega Forever here. Just wanted to do a quick video. This is going to be a channel update, and basically the reason why I'm doing this is because I actually want to talk about my channel. What I'm going to be doing on this channel in the upcoming year for 2022 and even into 2023. Basically, I'm going to be putting out more content, more videos, and talking about a lot of different things that I'm interested in, and that's going to go beyond gaming. And this is something, if you guys follow my channel, you guys know I've talked about this before. It shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people. It's just something that I'm interested in as far as across the board, which is pop culture, right? I'm going to talk about movies, going to be talking about games, specifically Xbox, predominantly Xbox. I'll cover gaming news as it pertains to the industry as a whole. Like, it would have to probably be something that's really big or something that indirectly affects Microsoft, because I am pro Microsoft channel. And with saying that, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen that I've changed my channel name. It was the All In channel. Originally, it was Xbox All In. Now I've taken it back to Xbox All In channel for the simple reason that, as you can see here, the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase, which I absolutely loved. I thought Microsoft did an awesome job. After watching that show, I was completely blown away. I did a podcast with Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer, and he was nice enough to invite me on to let me give my thoughts on the actual broadcast, and I gave it a 10 out of 10 because, like I said, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was probably one of the best showcases that they've ever done, and the reason why I said that is because this is not the Microsoft 2013. This is not the Xbox One day one 2013 Microsoft. This is definitely 2022. And if you guys have been rocking an Xbox as long as I have, and this new ecosystem that they have, you understand the plans that Phil Spencer talked about. His big plans that nobody could see at the time around 2015, and where he wanted to take this console, and actually where he wanted to take the game division. You can see that his plan is coming into fruition. If people took the time to listen to him, Microsoft's been getting hate from the media and from the PlayStation guys for the longest time. So, which doesn't surprise me. The thing that really bothers me is the actual people on the Xbox side, the so-called Xbox representatives, right? And I'm talking about the fanboys, right, or the so-called fanboys, definitely the Xbox media, and then the bigger channels who cover gaming in general, and even the bigger Xbox channels, man. Look, I'm going to tell you this right now. As far as I'm concerned, there's a small community of people on Xbox that I rock out with, and the reason I rock out with these guys is because they are, to me, what I would consider OG gamers, right? True Xbox fans, and just gamers in general, man. These guys like video games. They like the industry. They're kind of OG like me. We kind of grew up with this stuff, man. We've been playing games since the arcades, most of us. And we grew up in this industry, man, and we've seen the industry from its lowest beginnings, right? From when it first started off to where we are now. This billion-dollar industry that, people like to talk about, especially Microsoft, right? Because they're trying to increase their outreach to garner a lot of gamers across the board, right? And this is where we find ourselves where we are right now. But when it comes to Xbox and what I was trying to do with this channel, I wanted to cover stuff that was a little bit more nuanced, stuff that is a little more, how can I say, niche, and then cover stuff that was on a spectrum of things that was pop culture. And that was to include politics, and I was going to do a deep dive on this kind of stuff. But of course, life happens, man. Things are really hard right now for a lot of different people. I'm doing good, man, thank God. But I'm just saying, just the way life is right now, man. You just got to do what you got to do, and that's where a lot of people find themselves. So that's what I was going to do with the channel, because like I said before, in order for me to produce content for this channel, I just got to do stuff that I'm interested in, and that sometimes it could be Xbox. But as you guys can tell, I haven't been doing videos, and one of the reasons why is because I've actually been playing games. Game Pass is actually pretty great. Sorry about the background noise, guys. I guess our neighbor just decided to cut his grass for some reason. But I gotta do stuff that I'm interested in, man. And then sometimes, like I said, it's games. Sometimes it's stuff I'm watching, like on Netflix. Other times it's like, a new movie that came out, or some of the stuff I collect. You know, like if there's a run of Funko Pops that I want to get, you know, and I used to do videos like that, and I'll get back to doing those kind of things, right? Um, but if you guys have noticed, man, as I've been participating in like a lot of stuff on social media, especially, and then hitting up my boys' podcasts and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people have been realizing, at least people that have been rocking out with me for a while. You guys have noticed that my channel name, which was All In Channel, has gone back to Xbox All In. And again, the reason why I did that and why I'm doing this video for the channel update is because of this, the Xbox and Bethesda game showcase, which I absolutely love, man. Hat tip to Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer, for having me on his We Got Next podcast, where you know I was able to kind of give my opinion of what I thought about the showcase. And if you guys watched that, you guys know that I was like, I loved it, every last bit of it. There was not one thing on there that I didn't like. In fact, when they asked me to assign a number to it, and you know, not everybody had the same opinion as me, which is fine, but I gave it a 10 out of 10. Okay, that's how much I love the showcase. And then upon watching the showcase, like even in the podcast that I did with Hebot, there's people like Hebot made some comments that I thought were really good. You know, so the things that he noticed, and I think he gave it like an 8 out of 10 on the showcase. You know, but as you know, not all of us are going to agree all the time. But as I watched the other, you know, what I wanted to do is kind of take in as much information as possible so I can get a better idea. You know, that's just the way I am, to get a better idea of what the actual feel of the showcase was. And I'm not going to tell you, man, I was really surprised how many people did not like the showcase. You know, in fact, when I watched other people's comments on, or I read people's comments on it, and I watched their videos. And, you know, it's usually the usual suspects, man. I won't go into names here because it's not about a console war, flame war kind of thing I want to do. But I mean, if you guys rock out with us, you guys know what we're talking about. Right? It's the usual suspects, as always, dude. And it's like they watched a totally different, you know, showcase. Right? And then just listening to some of the comments and stuff, I'm like, dude, what did you guys expect? You know, and this goes back to what I said in my previous video, man. It's just the inability of people nowadays to manage their expectations. Because for a person like me, for like Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer, Sega Man, Unlimited Production, Mr. 100, Erock X, all of us as gamers, man, we actually like games, right? We grew up in this industry, you know, and so we like this stuff, right? So if something happens that, you know, we might project or we might speculate about what we expect out of these kind of things, but if it doesn't happen, dude, you know, we're not gonna die over it. We'll make our comments, right? We might be disappointed. Like I said in my previous video, I was really disappointed that Starfield wasn't coming out, right? But then on the same breath, I was kind of like, okay, well, it's not coming out, but it's not like I don't have anything else to play. In fact, since there's no Redfall, and since there is no Starfield, I can actually get caught up on a lot of the games, not just the backlog of games. I can't even touch those games. That's the games I own. I'm talking there's a backlog on Game Pass alone that I'm trying to get through. Right? Like right now, I'm playing a game called House Flipper. Dude, I've been playing that game for a week straight. It actually took me away from other games I was playing, which I wasn't expecting it to do. I mean, I knew I would like the game, but not on that level. And that's a lot of the things, you know. They got games like, what is it, Nakara, right? Which is a live service game, and they got games like Fall Guys, which if you start playing it, man, you find out really quickly that's really addictive. So when you have Microsoft making these calls on the gaming itself, right, it's just like, again, delaying them for what I feel is good reasons, right? I'm not going to, again, disappointed, but I'm not going to cry about it, right? And then when I'm watching this Bethesda showcase, you know, there was a game on there called Lightyear. I can't remember what it had the title of Lightyear in it. I know that's not the full title, but that was the word that was in there. And basically, what it is this mech game, right? You land on this planet, and then you start, you know, it's basically a sim. You start building up the planet that you're on. You know, you have to create your crops and you know, find ways to survive. And there's an exploring element on it as well. And I already know, dude, I'm gonna love this game because this game is right up my alley. These are the kind of games that I like to play. And when you look at the graphics and everything that was in it, this game will not be a slouch, man. Some people might not put it in a AAA category, right? But even the double A's, man, and a lot of the indies, man, it's on a whole nother level. Like I said, man, this isn't indies of days of past, right? These are like the new 2022 stuff, right? These guys doing it have pedigree. They know what they're doing, right? And so when I see the type of variety that was there, right, the type of games, they covered every single genre, just about. They covered from from independent games to AAA games. again with Starfield and all that kind of stuff being delayed, of course. But when I was looking at this showcase, man, I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And then to see some of these guys, especially some of these channels that are supposed to be like pro Xbox channels, right? Just kind of like the disappointment they had, kind of the little things that they complained about. I'm just like, dude, what else can Microsoft do at this point? Microsoft has done just about everything they can to put Xbox where it is now, to kind of give everybody what they wanted. It's Xbox. I think Microsoft right now is at a point, is like they'll address the issues, but they're kind of going by the beat of their own drum, which I think is really smart, because I think they figured out that there's just haters out there, and that there's just people out there that just can't, they're just never going to make them happy, right? So what you do is you create products and you create services that people want, right? And once that general populace starts buying into it, that's just going to help kill all the noise. And like I said, I'll do videos about this. Like I want to do a video talking about how well Microsoft is doing in Japan, and then a couple other stuff I got put together. And I'll try and keep this video short. Like I know this one's running a bit long, but I just wanted to say, as far as moving forward, man, that's what this channel is going to be about. Right? I'm going to be touching on pop culture stuff, some political stuff. If you guys don't like that stuff, then that's fine as well. You don't have to watch the videos. Definitely Xbox stuff. I'm still going to be rocking Xbox. And that's kind of why I brought my name back, Xbox All In, because after I watched this, I just realized, man, that no matter what, Microsoft will never make anybody, not every single person happy, which is, I understand that part and everything like that, but after watching the showcase and still seeing the hate that they're getting, I expect it from the media, and I'll bring back my media blast to deal with those. I expect it definitely from the ponies, but these guys are coming few and far between as people starting to migrate over to Xbox. You see it all the time, every day. You see it in the sales. And again, I'm not a sales guy as far as using it as cannon fodder for the console war. Now, if you want to give Sony guys crap about it, definitely do. You definitely do, because they deserve it. Because they've been talking trash on it. They brought that on themselves. And it's time for them to pay the piper when it comes to that. And that's what's happening in a lot of the stuff they do. And every single thing they've caught on an Xbox is actually happening to them on their own console, which I find ironic, right? And which is actually funny. So, I mean, if you guys feel free to want to clown these guys, go ahead. Clown these guys. They deserve it. But as for me and what it shows as far as the sales, and I've been like this consistently about this kind of stuff, even when Microsoft was not selling well, dude. It's just a barometer. I said this like years ago. All the sales are to me is a barometer that you can use, an analytical point that you can use to see, kind of pinpoint how well the console is doing. And given the history of the Xbox One and where Microsoft is now, that's why I find enjoyment in seeing in the console, right? Because there's a lot of things that Microsoft was not getting handed to them. Dude, they have to, they have to fight, and they have to fight, tooth and nail, man, to get every little ounce that they got. And that's another thing too. You see, there's this belief within in the greater Xbox community that a lot of people are coming over. It's not out of goodwill that they're coming over, or that the media is kind of changing, or that the media is looking at it with, with unbiased eyes. What happened is Microsoft forced these guys to change their opinions and change their attitudes. Dude, why do you think that they bought Minecraft or Bethesda or even Activision, which will happen soon, right? This is why they bought these companies, man. Like I said in my previous video, man, bulletproof, right? And then you have a service like Game Pass is knocking it out of the park, right? The value, right? The variety, the overall service itself, there's nothing like it. And Microsoft keeps on investing in it, which I think is a really good idea. And like I said in my other video, man, I told you guys, man, if it was up to me and if I was Microsoft, I would just buy as many companies as I can. Companies that make sense to them, that'll work with them, right? Like how they did with Bethesda, right? Not randomly and go buy stuff, but if it's going to work out, and if they can pull it off, then definitely go start buying up all these companies, right? And start putting their content in Game Pass and keep on growing Game Pass. Game Pass is the future, and how Microsoft conducts themselves both on the business sense and in the entertainment realm is basically going to see if this thing, grows as big as it potentially can. Because I definitely think it can be the next Netflix of gaming. In fact, what Microsoft can do is use that roadmap, and they can look at Disney, they can look at Netflix, they can look at Marvel, or what Marvel is doing with their crappy movies and stuff like that. They can learn from that, and I think they have, and I think they see it clearly. Because when Microsoft actually And this is the reason why I'll say this kind of stuff, even though some people are suspect of them. And I'm not saying you don't have to be. They could change over time, right? But as for where they are right now, they're looking at it from a gaming perspective, and from a gamer's perspective, and from a consumer's perspective. In a way, they have to, right? Because they want this thing to be successful. But we all know how Microsoft is, man. Right now, they're like, they got the big hearts and stuff like that. So, I mean, let's, and I'll talk about that on another video, an update to why I'm, bringing the channel back to where it was now. It's a whole nother video. I don't want to get into it now. This is running a little bit long. But yeah, so I'm back, Xbox All In channel. I am your host, Sega Forever. Hopefully you guys like the content that I'm going to put out there. We're going to be repping Xbox hard. Shout out to the Xbox community that I rock with. Shout out to Hebot, the world's most powerful gamer, the gaming historian who fights the good fight. He just did a video on his channel where he's having a debate with one of these dudes that is out there, which was actually pretty entertaining. E-Rock X, the Don King of Xbox, Unlimited Production, the new young blood, the new hotness on the scene in this Xbox community. And shout out to Sega Man, dude, OG gamer like myself. Mr. 100 and his crew. Sorry, I can't name every single person there, but just if you follow Mr. 100, man, you know the usual suspects are, man, and these are the dudes that you need to be following, man. These are the guys that are hardcore Xbox. There's Zinc, who's been with the Exile podcast as well. I know he's a new member to it, man, but this dude speaks a lot of truth. You can tell he's an OG, man. This guy's been around the block. He doesn't speak stuff. One thing I like about Other Zinc is when he talks about stuff. He's either experienced it or he puts a lot of thought into it, man. He just doesn't spit crap out there. When he talks, it's worth listening to him. And shout out to my boy NWO Prime, man. I definitely want you to kick back on here. KTJ Gaming is back. We're rocking out with that dude forever. And the usual suspects, man. The guys that've been rocking out in the chats for the Exile podcast, and we got next games. I'll try and put a podcast together. I don't know. It's hard enough for me to do these videos. But yeah, man, I thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for sticking around with me. I know I've been off and on. I've been all over the place. Some of the stuff that I put out, people don't like. Which in a way it's been kind of good, man, because it's kind of forced, like, the people who follow me to kind of be more real. And I'm not saying that to be, like, negative. I'm just being honest, man. I would rather have, like, 10 people that I can, actually talk to and communicate with and actually have the same ideals and morals and principles I have. And 1,000 people that don't know me from Adam. So, that's how we're moving forward on this channel, man. Thank you guys for rocking out with me all this time. Xbox All In is back. I'm your host, Sega Forever, and we out.